Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. It's us again. It's me and Corey. I think he's on this side. How you doing, Corey?
I'm everywhere, Fokker.
It's-
I'm doing
he's,
good, man. How are you?
he's on that side. I'm doing really good. We uh, we got another blockbuster on our hands. We
Yes,
decided to review The Rock, going
by
along with.
far the best movie we've reviewed so far.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We went along with the same theme of let's review movies that we loved when we were younger, and like all these movies, by the way, have been like in like my college years. Like,
Yeah, I I think I am a little addled when it came to my coming up
yeah,
because I felt much younger watching these movies, and
yeah.
then I see the dates now, and I'm like, oh my God, I was only like, why was I so into this movie? Like, I'm very addled.
So we decided to cover The Rock, and basically we're doing this to see if they stand the test of time, see if they're still good quality movies, and typically action movies, um, just because of some of their ridiculous premises, don't stand the test of time. I love this movie then, and I love it now.
It's so good. It's so good.
There are a few things that I didn't like about the movie this time around, but and when you watch it with and just to let everybody know, when you watch it with like a critical eye, I'm trying to find the jokes in these movies.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
That's kind of my take on it as well. Just as like a upfront review is the movie itself is fantastic. I found numerous things wrong with the plot. There are holes everywhere,
oh yeah.
but that's only when I'm wearing my cynic's cap, and I had to keep putting it on because I would get so involved in this movie that the cap would just fall right off,
Yeah.
and I was into it. And then I was like, "Whoa, shit! No, I got to be actually doing a job here.
I did the
This
same
this is
thing.
bullshit."
I did the same thing. So let's get started. You do your IMDb thing, and I didn't write anything down as far as like plot of the movie. So you give your IMDb thing, and I'll tell you if I agree with that or not.
Okay, feel sounds fair. This The Rock, rated R, released in 1996. A mild-mannered chemist and an ex-con must lead the counter-strike when a rogue group of military men, led by a renegade general, threaten a nerve gas attack from Alcatraz against San Francisco. Before you say anything, that is the longest run-on sentence in history. That is bullshit. Put a
was there
period somewhere.
was there no
That's not one
periods?
sentence.
There was,
The movie is starring Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris, and a whole host of fantastic characters.
and the Candyman.
The Candyman, Tony
was-
Todd, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I was expecting bees to fly out of his mouth.
Oh,
It's-
that would have been incredible.
I expected him to just look at the other Marines like Helen, Helen.
He just shows up in everyone's mirrors.
He's got that long coat on.
Sean Connery goes, "I have to take a piss." Godspeed, and runs off, and then all of a sudden, Candyman's in the mirror.
I
Movie
like
over.
it. I like it. 6 minute movie. Good.
Yeah.
Um, I agree with everything that synopsis gave, except for this like whole mild mannered Doctor Goodspeed.
He is not mild mannered.
He is no.
He's borderline on the spectrum.
He's an
Like,
overactor, is what he is.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
He's you've got
And
to
this
be
really,
the
this
dumbest.
really isn't even. This is when he's still a good actor before he goes William Shatner with the whole
Yeah.
top thing.
Well, so I'm just gonna start out with a couple of things right off the bat. One, the only issue that I have with the beginning is where the VX gas is located, where they go and they, in another monologue at the beginning of a movie. By the way, that's our third.
Yes.
So, and not really a monologue, but the where the VX gas is held, it's in like a U.S. military base. seems to be insufficiently secured. There's only like 7 guys there.
Yeah, that's good. Like, my overall critique of this movie is it makes the military
Look inept.
look horrible. Or, yeah, completely inept the whole way through. It takes a nerd-ass scientist and a 70-year-old former SAS agent.
Well, let's give Mason some due. He's like in his 60s.
Okay. Excuse me.
He's not quite 70 yet.
Is it because you're getting that close?
And it is.
You're
And
knocking on the door at 60 and you're like, no, man, that motherfucker ain't 70. Show some respect.
And everything is awesome in the movie. Like, the beginning is awesome, and even though, it's the insufficiently secured base, everything is pretty awesome until the Nick Cage sex scene with his girlfriend. And in the Nick Cage sex scene with his girlfriend, it starts off just fine, normal sex scene.
I'm covering my mouth because I'm going to be burping like the entire time. Just, oh.
Then she says, "How do you like my pigtails?" And his response, "Naughty. Oh, naughty, naughty." He says it like 4 times.
He says naughty, compelling, that's interesting. And my question with this is, while he's having this conversation, while she is, I almost made a very lewd gesture while this was happening.
Yeah.
While she's on top of him, right?
Yes.
She's bouncing up and down.
That's
every time
typically
she goes
how it
up,
goes.
He goes, naughty, compelling, exciting. He has a different thing. And I kind of caught myself wondering, are we to believe like she's maybe doing a Kegel? At that point, like she's flexing her vaginal walls.
I don't know.
Vaginal muscle.
A Kegel, is that
and he's just going like, oh, interesting.
Is that
compelling.
the universal
Like,
sign for Kegel?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We need to move past that, but I got stuck on that for like 10 minutes.
It
Like,
was so weird. Oh, I bet you did, Playboy.
it was weird. It wouldn't have been 10 minutes. It would have been like 2.
Well, my favorite part, real quick, at the end of the sex scene, because he gets a phone call, they're having sex, he's just saying random words, and he gets a phone call, he has to go downstairs because he's FBI.
Yeah.
24/7 job, bro. He's not ever off the clock.
Yes.
And his girlfriend gets pissed because we find out she's pregnant, and then she says,
And she's Catholic.
I'm Catholic. Do you know how bad this looks? Probably as bad as you repeatedly having premarital sex if your Catholicism is that important to you. Just saying.
That was the first thing I thought too.
Like, you're throwing some curveballs at him, and I don't think that was entirely fair.
So here's the other thing. So it cuts from that. He gets called in. They basically figure out like, okay, it's at the Rock, and there's only one guy, and Womack is the only guy that knows that this guy exists. And Womack is like the worst person ever. If you thought Jules was bad in Varsity Blues, Womack is even worse.
Womack is like the definition of fascism in this movie.
And
he's played by the fantastic John Spencer.
Dude, the whole
Wing
crew,
fame.
The whole crew, the entire cast does a fantastic job in this movie.
But my God, what an asshole.
So this is the thing.
Let's just call it, he's a sociopath. He shows zero emotion toward anybody except for Sean Connery's John Mason.
Yeah. And I'm going to cut from there because I have no idea. I still don't understand why Goodspeed, Nicolas Cage, is asked to interview John Mason, in the interrogation room. Outside of the fact that they think they have no other options?
Well, I think the initial plan was to throw him off because Mason, while he's in with William Forsythe, FBI agent character.
Who throws a quarter at him willy-nilly.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Like, you're just bombing one-liners at the guy who's basically told you to go fuck yourself.
Call a lawyer. Call your
Yeah.
lawyer.
Weird.
Yeah, anyway.
But anyway, pretty sure those calls are collect anyway. You don't need a quarter. They don't have quarters in jail. But hardly the point.
Yes.
So, while William Forsythe's FBI agent is interrogating John Mason is listing off Alcimedes, Sir William Raleigh,
Yeah.
and Nicolas Cage immediately recognizes them as people who have all been wrongfully imprisoned.
Yes.
He's kind of going along with all the fancy quotes Mason's using and all this shit. So Womack, John Spencer's character, thinks it'll probably be a good idea to put an equally educated man in the room with him who's also not using the field agent stuff. The field agent
Sure.
book.
We'll go with that.
That's what they said. I didn't write the fucking thing. Don't look at me like
A couple of things. So they go through that. He signs the thing. They rip it up, which is kind of against the law, but whatever. They get him into...
No. It's 100% against the law.
So,
like, very against the law.
So they get him into the hotel to get his hair cut. And they hire a stylist for, like, is he on the FBI payroll? Whatever.
And this is all just like comedic exposition.
Yeah, it's just
bullshit.
It's basically just throwaway stuff. We'll throw some comedy in here, whatever.
He's singing "Mamas and the Papas."
He's in the shower. So this is one of my big issues. He's in the shower singing. Fine. There's 2 FBI agents in there.
It's because you didn't full frontal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. But he's singing, and this shower is like a suite, like VIP.
Yeah.
But it's like he's showering in a tub with a full round curtain, maybe, where there's a side to it where like the little soap on a rope thing in the shower, which I've only seen in like 3 hotels in my life. But
this is back though when like a Days Inn was considered like a high price hotel.
Sure. But he pulls this rope out of the shower, ties it around his wrist, the whole thing, to shake his hand and knock Womack over the side, whatever. How long is that? I have 2 questions. How long is that fucking rope? Because I've been to those hotels, and the rope's not that long. It's maybe 2-3 feet. This rope was like 35 feet long.
Oh yeah, it was like a climbing rope.
And let's be honest. It's a thin piece. It's almost like dental floss. Like, that's how thin the rope is.
Yes.
This rope would not have held a grown man's full weight. It just would not have. So those are my 2 issues with that.
It wouldn't hold my full weight, and I'm half a grown man.
So he escapes. More comic relief in the elevator.
Yep.
Do you like your haircut?
I just want to know if you like your haircut.
So he steals a Humvee, right? And this is at the height of the Humvee.
Yes.
And he's been in prison for 33 years. Mm-hmm. He's in his 60s. So he's been in prison basically underneath the prison for out of 33 years.
Since like 66.
Yeah, since 1966. But he knows how to work a car phone in the 90s? Immediately?
Oh, fix it right up. What's slamming? Mason. New phone, who this?
He picked up the phone, he's like, what's good?
Actually, it was 96, so he was probably going, what's that?
Exactly. So that's that. And I'm going to go back to your the description of the movie. Because this movie, again, fantastic. I still love it to this day. But Nicolas Cage kind of ruins this movie for me. And he ruins this movie with a lot of his dumb shit.
I want you to know that sentence has literally been spoken by everyone who's ever seen a Nicolas Cage film.
The comic relief was good, but most of it was unnecessary. This would have been a great drama thriller kind of movie. Like, there was no need for the comic relief.
Right.
The one line when they get to the Rock, and Goodspeed pulls the gun on Mason, and he says, or no, it was when he goes to see his daughter. I'm trying to do this off of memory, and he's like, "Let's cut the chit chat a-hole," like stuff like that. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know if this was Nicolas Cage's idea or the writer or the director or whatever, but Stanley Goodspeed apparently can't swear in this movie, because there's a few lines like, "Let's cut the chit chat a-hole."
Yep.
Free FBI freeze sucker.
Yep. And then he says it again and says, "Mister."
Yeah.
Thanks, mister.
That line made me cringe. And then there was another one that I actually had to write down. I didn't take many notes, but I had to write down. But it was just, he says friggin' in the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that's not how real people talk, especially in that situation.
In stressful situations, right. Especially, and there are a lot of very weird character choices. Like, they make such a point at the beginning of the film to show Nicolas Cage is a Beatlemaniac. He even says he refers to himself as a Beatlemaniac because he got like an original pressing of the White Album in the mail. And his partner's like, "What's that?"
But it never comes up again.
Never.
It's like a throwaway thing. Like,
yeah, it's just like, okay. And here's the other thing with that scene. You've worked in an office a little bit longer than I have. For those that don't know, I retired about 15 years ago. But in an office setting, people get some personal stuff mailed there. You know, whatever. It happens from time to time. Never in my life do I remember going, "Hey man, what's that?" "This is the original blah 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 pressing of the White Album. I'm a Beatlemaniac." Cool, guy. Talk to you later.
Cool.
Juices.
So, and
that's so weird.
With all of that said,
so weird.
And again, this goes to his character and who he is and what he does, and he's just
he's eccentric.
Yeah, he's a chemical expert, total like scientist nerd type, whatever.
He's essentially Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
with an FBI,
much more social grace,
with an FBI badge, like that's
right.
It. But I still don't understand why they send Goodspeed to Alcatraz.
No, because he's the only one that can disarm the bomb.
No,
which is hilarious.
Because when they get to Alcatraz and they start disarming these bombs, all you have to do is take the casing out, take the pearls out, and then get the chip out. And then you could do whatever you want with the string of pearls. You could just put them down. You could put them back in the thing. Just don't drop them.
Yeah.
They can't tell that to a trained team of Navy SEALs?
Nope. Sure can't. Has to go.
So apparently he has to go. So
the most ridiculous. Like, what did you think they were going to do? Booby trap the chemical missile?
Yes. Well, and it's funny because at the very beginning, when the first guy dies trying to steal the VX gas, the ball, like, falls to the ground, does not break. It rolls at a very slow speed and hits something, whatever the thing was there, and it, like, mushes into the side of it. Like, I thought that was, like, glass around the thing, and it looked like gelatin. It looked like
when it hits something, it sounds like glass. It shatters like glass. There's a clink, 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 and then all of a sudden it just kind of goes blah, like a dishwasher,
like it's
tap,
only
or a Tide Pod.
It's only it's only as sensitive as they need for the shot.
Right.
Like that's what it seems like. But some of the best one-liners in this movie, like Sean Connery is one of my all-time favorites. Love the guy.
Oh yeah. But he's off the rails in this.
The best line is, and I'll try to do it justice, but I won't. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Like,
that's pretty good.
That's one of that one, and it's an act of lunacy. Personally, I think you're a fucking idiot. Like, those two lines are freaking fantastic. Like there's so many of them. There's too many. Like I couldn't type fast enough to get them all down. But those were the two big ones for me. That was hilarious. And my other issue with the movie is Stanley Goodspeed at the end of this movie. Okay, they go through the whole thing. You go through the shower scene where all the SEALs get killed, and it's just Mason and Goodspeed, and they have to save the day. When they get to the last rocket, to disarm the last rocket, one of the balls falls off and is rolling and rolling and rolling, and he finally he puts it in his pocket, correct?
Yes.
And then proceeds to fly through windows and walls and
very physical Roman Greco grappling match.
It goes back to those balls are only as sensitive as the shot needs. So
yes.
He goes through all this.
By the way, he's fighting like a staff sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. And it's an even fight. He's a scientist who doesn't even carry a gun as an FBI agent. He has to get a loaner gun from somebody else.
Because he forgot it in his sock drawer.
But he's been rolling with John Mason for about 3 hours, so it's cool. He can go toe-to-toe with USMC.
Yeah.
Again, this movie, from the original attack to get the VFX rockets to the Navy SEALs, horrible incursion up into the shower room, which, I mean, for fuck's sakes, ambush is one of like the first things I would imagine when you actually get into field training, let alone for Navy SEALs.
And listen, I've never been in the military. I don't know what strategies are like. I don't know, but in my estimation, the shower, because those tunnels go everywhere, all over the island. Yeah. The shower room would probably be the worst point of entry for those guys.
Like, especially considering one of the rockets is in the morgue, which is lower than the shower room.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you enter level instead of going up into an ambush?
Again, a few holes. A few holes.
Just have a military advisor on set to be
that's it.
Do more than, no, they salute like this, not like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Have them actually draw up maybe some idea of how not to make these guys look like shitheads.
Exactly. So
because it's just every turn.
Yeah, and then when he gets into the fight with said staff sergeant, he takes this pristine ball of VX gas liquid shit out of his pocket, and he's holding it like, hey, and the guy starts choking him, and he's talking, and he just shoves it in his mouth and hits his chin.
The original Tide Pod.
And he doesn't close his mouth as it's coming like towards his face. Like he just
doesn't even see it.
Yeah.
He's literally blind with rage.
I know I got a big mouth, but my mouth doesn't open that wide when I talk. Even if I'm yelling at somebody, my mouth isn't that wide open.
Especially when you're like choking, you're more like this, and it's through your teeth. Like, you motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you.
Exactly.
Not that I've ever done that, but that's how I imagine it would be.
I would assume. I have no idea. But yeah, so that I had an issue with, and I had an issue with the ending. The ending should have been when Mason gets away from the island, like they're talking on the walkie-talkie, and no, he got vaporized. Like, that's a thing. Even if you're a moron and somebody says, oh, he got vaporized, like, did he though?
Even the FBI director, Woback, goes, vaporized? That's a thing? And Nick Cage, oh, yes, sir.
Oh, no, absolutely, vaporized.
I think the FBI director is like, oh, he got vaporized. Cool.
Yeah. So
no, this ain't Star Trek, motherfucker.
But it should have ended there because San Francisco is saved, everybody's saved, the people that were held captive at Alcatraz, like that's the whole thing in a bow, in a nice pretty bow. And then they just kind of throw in like, oh, go down to this church in fucking Alabama or wherever the fuck it is, and go into the third pew and it's hollow and there's microfilm. That just didn't need to be in there.
Yeah, it did, and you know why?
Why?
Because this sets up Stanley Goodspeed changing his name and starting the National Treasure franchise. This was the first treasure hunt. And then he becomes Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Benjamin Watson, whatever.
I forget what his name is. I actually think I just got his name right, which is probably more embarrassing than saying the wrong one.
I think you did. I just named a tight end. So, in the NFL.
Sorry.
I know.
In case you don't know, somebody's got a sports show. So.
Gas up the pacer each week.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. I wore my Tupac shirt instead of my Ohio State gear. So, but yeah, I just didn't think that it was just a dumb ending. That was just.
Yeah, it kind of left nothing there.
It was like they filmed the movie, and they were done, and they watched it, and maybe they had how they have the audience fill out those cards when they screen it, and they were like, I don't know, it needed a better ending. And they were like, microfilm. We'll just throw the microfilm in. Yeah. It was like they filmed it like 3 months after the movie was finished. And they just said, we'll just tack that on to the end.
And why, if I may be so bold, because I would certainly not want to question something as prestigious as the United States federal government, but why are you putting all of your secrets onto one microfiche? He said it's all their secrets.
Yeah, everything.
Just onto one bitch-ass roll that big. That's all you did. Why even have it then? Why would you want evidence of any of that shit?
Exactly.
Are you fucking nuts?
Do you want to know who really killed JFK? Is it all? Did they have film of it? Like
right.
They were like, "Come on, Billy, shoot him. Go ahead and shoot him. I'm just going to film it from over here."
So ridiculous. Like, we got to get evidence of this. It's a momentous day for us.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, that was the ending.
Yeah, that was a little ridiculous. Yeah. Shooting Tony Todd, the Candyman, who played one of the bad Marines.
Rocket Man?
He got killed by a rocket.
Yeah.
After Nicolas Cage delivers the Rocket Man line, which, if I remember correctly, that was post-Beatles.
Well, and that was also what's his name?
Elton John.
Elton John. Yeah. That you figured he'd give like a Beatles line there. Like, if he's such a if you want to do a callback, you deliver a Beatles line there. I don't know what Beatles line would be good, but
you go, "Hey Tony Todd, obla di, obla da, life goes on." Done. That easy.
Done. You're good.
Yep. Launch him on his rocket. He dies the exact same way.
But yeah, so that was the other thing that was odd to me when he says that. I went, Rocket Man. And again, it's something when I originally watched the movie, I didn't put two and two together, but I was like, that's an Elton John song. that's not even a Beatles song. That was like, did the Beatles cover it? It would have been a good callback if he made some sort of Beatles reference. But yeah, no, it's not
very, very weird.
But
I also had a problem with, they seemed very, like, Nicolas Cage seemed to be very intent on making sure his girlfriend was at the command center when she got to San Francisco, because that just added a little pressure for Nick Cage to get the job done.
Yeah. Outside
of just the civilian population, now you throw in the Alex Cross factor, which is, I only care about my family.
Yeah.
And now you know the pressure's up for him.
Yes.
My thing is, though, you know what's going on. You know, you're the only one that totally, fully grasps what happens if one of these rockets is launched.
Yes.
Even one of these balls is dropped and the wind changes. Why would you not say, yeah, my girlfriend's coming to San Francisco. meet her at the airport, turn her the fuck around,
Get her
and
out
get
of
her on a
Dodge.
plane somewhere else. I'll call her when I'm done.
Yeah, let her know what's going
command center
on.
was not like a biohazard protection
Exactly.
unit. It was just a pier. It was
Yep.
an empty like pier at a set of docks. Nothing.
Yeah, and everybody's
Nothing.
there. Womack, everybody's there. Like, they're all gonna die. Like,
I'm
they
pretty
would've-
sure the president popped in, hung out for a couple minutes.
they would have
There
all
you
been
go.
in
Cool.
Wa-
All right, guys.
they would have all been in Washington, looking at this stuff on
Oh,
screens. Like, that's what would have happened.
Yeah, just like Bin Laden style. You think the fucking CIA director was sitting there with SEAL Team 6 when we took out Bin Laden?
Exactly.
Like, all right,
Like,
wrap it up, guys. Good job.
at a building across the street. But yeah, all in all, though, I know there's some things that I didn't like or that I picked out in this movie, but my God, it's still a great movie, man. Still a great movie.
This is definitely the movie for me. I would suggest if anybody wanted to see what Nick Cage was like before he like went way overboard.
Yeah.
And this is one of the few movies I think he actually does where he has zero references to Elvis Presley, which is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
And I think that's maybe why they threw the Beatles stuff in there, was just to fuck with him.
Because he's like, I want to be an Elvis fan. They're like, no, you're a Beatles fan.
Yep. They probably had like the budget to get somebody else like to play his girlfriend, like a really high-end name, big actress. That time I don't remember. It was 96.
Yeah.
And they just said, you know what? No, we're gonna buy the rights to this Beatles album, to the song fucking Rocket Man, to say John Lennon's name, just so he can't talk about Elvis. That was the only reason that existed in the plot.
I think so.
Confident.
But yeah, other than that, I thought it was a great freaking movie. I think it still stands. Like, I didn't think it was going to stand the test of time because I haven't seen this in a while.
Yeah,
But
especially considering it was, if I'm correct, it's Michael Bay, right?
I believe so.
I know it's a Jerry Bruckheimer production, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Michael Bay was involved, and this was right too before Michael Bay went Transformers on us.
Exactly. I was actually going to try to look that up, and I don't care. So yes, we'll say Michael Bay.
It's like
But, yeah.
this and Bad Boys are the only two Michael Bay movies you should check out.
Yes, it's a good action-packed, awesome movie. With,
Yep.
If you could suspend disbelief on a few little things,
And it's not hard. It's easy to get sucked into this movie,
It really
and just
is.
some of the overall plot points.
yep,
It just washes over you because it really is. It's entertaining. It is humorous. The action is good. Little excessive, little over the top sometimes. And I don't mean like, oh, violence is gross. I just mean like, we get it. Everybody's got a gun.
Yeah.
The expenditure of ammunition was insane.
yeah, exactly. But yeah,
But yeah, I mean, seriously, it was a great movie. All the actors did a great job.
yep,
It worked.
yeah. Well, if that's all we got, then
Well, I got it, man.
we'll end it right there.
I
But
gotta go shower. I just complimented something a little more than I did shit on it.
I know, right? Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole nine. We'll be back. We'll do another movie. I think we're gonna do Con Air next. Is that right?
Keep that Cage train rolling, mama.
There you go.
I don't know why I called you mama.
All right. Well, we'll do that. We'll do that next.
When I'm done talking to my shrink, we'll be back with Con Air.
Outstanding. We'll see you guys.